Hey, good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I am your host, BKP. I want to welcome you here this morning. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the three shows earlier in the week are a blur. They are a blur to me. So I hope I can recover today, because baseball is not over, but baseball is over here for Gilmer County. The tournament we covered, went home yesterday, refreshed, recharged, ready to go. So thank you for bearing with me. Now, if you'd like to get involved with the show by texting me at any time, something is happening on the show you want to talk about, it's 706-889-9700. You can email me, chief@fetchernews.com. Follow us on Twitter @FetcherNews, @FYNTV. I really did not think there would be a day that my voice would be strained and I could not talk. And I know I'm hearing all the laughter out there, right? But yesterday I was not able to push any conversation through. I did not go home and get on the telephone, talk to political candidates, politicians, anybody really yesterday. It's just a quiet day trying to recover, and we're back. So thank you. At 8:30 this morning will be Carla's Corner. Don't miss Carla's Corner every Thursday morning at 8:30. And Carla has some big news she wants to announce on this show. So you don't want to miss it, 8:30. And then 9 o'clock, come back. Don't leave. I know that upsets Carla. I know that, Amanda. But sometimes people think, well, okay, now what's going to happen? But at 9 o'clock, I go back to political conversation. We'll call it that nicely. Now, let me introduce you to Minnesota's 8th Congressional District. And I'm gonna start out by that, but I'm not gonna finish it, okay? Because we got to bring this all the way around. Because you, America, are involved in not one of the, I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest diversions of actually what's happening in this country that has ever taken place. 2,000 children have caused all the satellite trucks to rush to the border. 2,000 children have caused all of the deep state media to work 24-hour special report bulletins, trying to find the little girls, trying to find the toddlers, the crisis on the border. But the diversion, folks, is that the Russian collusion scandal / obstruction of justice President Trump is over, period. They do not want you to hear the news that is taking place. They do not want you to hear the damaging news that the top level of the FBI, there was a conspiracy within the top level of the FBI, a collusion to take down the President of the United States. They don't want you to hear it. They don't want you to know that women, unemployment for women is the lowest. I don't know how many years, because they're fact checking me. I'll throw out 35 years. Lowest maybe ever for women. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that employment for African Americans, black, whatever, lowest in the history since we've started keeping racially divided statistics on unemployment. They don't want you to know that. And what they don't want you to know is what's happening in states like Minnesota. Not a word of it. They don't want you to know about the 8th Congressional District. The biggest diversion ever. They do not want you to know how bad the trade deals are. They don't want you to know. Because what you are witnessing right now is, you see, there has to go into Trump, Stop Trump 2.0. Now, there'll be a 3.0, and it's very simple. Stop Trump 1.0 has not worked, all right? And that was the collusion of the FBI, the deep state, all getting together to stop the president of the United States, the candidate Donald Trump, from becoming president. Didn't work, okay? They blew it. Now it's 2018. So this is Stop Trump 2018, because if they could get Nancy Pelosi back in there and give her the gavel, I'm telling you now, it's Stop Trump 2018 2.0. But the big one they're working on, folks, you see, if they know, here's what they know, is they know 2018 may come and go, and they know that Kevin McCarthy will probably be Speaker of the House. So don't take this wrong. I know conservatives out there are just steaming right now when I say, I have watched all of the emails, the text messages, the social media, Jim Jordan, Speaker of the House. I've watched that, okay? I watched all of that. I don't disagree. Jim Jordan can be Speaker of the House in my book any day of the week. I will support him. In fact, I think he should be, okay? I do not think Kevin McCarthy should be Speaker of the House, but I will tell you this for all you Trump supporters out there, whether you're upset or not, Donald J. Trump does think he will accept, and he is supporting Kevin McCarthy for Speaker of the House. That's all there is to it. So let's move on for all you smelly Walmart shopping Trump supporters. Move on. Kevin McCarthy will be, and that's me. I'm in with you, okay? So Kevin McCarthy will be Speaker of the House, but they don't want Kevin McCarthy Speaker of the House. Here's the point. Stop Trump 2018. And they're working behind the scenes to stop Trump 2020. They will not. Now, here's the big one for those of you that get concerned. I don't want to start the show like that. We're going to talk about Duluth, Minnesota. We're going to talk about family separation unit centers. We're going to talk about the top news of the day, that Jerry Springer's been canceled. We'll get to all that, okay? But what I'm telling you right now is 2018. If they could turn Congress in 2018, that would be the stop they need. Then they would start impeachment, okay? Day one. Very first bill that hits the floor, impeachment. But the big one's 2020. And that one I am in the greatest fear of. And I'll explain before the show's out. Now, yesterday the president signed an executive order, and this morning on Morning Joe, as you know, I watch the Enemy of the State in the mornings to make sure I know what direction they're going, okay? I don't expect you to. You should from time to time, just to see the direction of the enemy. I mean, if you are in a battle, if you are in a war, if there's a civil war going on in this country, and you have chose a side, which I have chose a side, it's called America First. I have chose a side, it's called the Constitution. I have chose a side, the Republic, for which it stands. I have a side, okay? I'm a live and let live. Constitution, all right? Stay out of my front yard. That's all, simple, all right? But you have to know what the enemy is doing. And I know those sound as though they're harsh words, but they are harsh because they're true. The media, the deep state media, is an enemy of the country. Plain and simple. On Morning Joe, Joe and Minka, they were discussing, I'm trying to stay a little more serious today because we have to break down some things to understand what they are doing. Joe and Mika started out this morning and they were discussing, and they went there. I told you on this show, it's Katrina for them. All right? It is Katrina. It is Donald Trump's Katrina. Now, they did that. They were waiting for the executive order. Now, do you remember during Katrina, George, the biggest criticism that George Bush had was that he waited too long for the federal government to react. 3 days or whatever for the federal government to react. Now, according to natural disaster policies, the state is supposed to call on the federal government. And we know at that time, a Democrat governor and a mayor of New Orleans that eventually went to prison did not call on the President of the United States. We remember during Katrina the pictures of these school buses that were not enacted by the governor in time to do anything, underwater fields of school buses that could have been used in evacuation. We know that. But the biggest criticism is George Bush waited to act and watched all the people that were devastated crying for help. So that's what they're paralleling with the executive order yesterday, is that Donald J. Trump waited to act and watch these children that we don't know where they're at. They have gone as far, folks, listen to this, the left liberal wackos have gone as far as to say this is an international crisis, and the UN, and watch and see, they will send in, the international community will send in people to check on us. Oh, hell yeah. That's what they're going for. They want the international community to send people in to check on us. All right? Now, this is, you heard for 3 or 4 days, this is a congressional problem. Congress did not fix this. I don't care if you're a Republican today, a Democrat today, no matter who you are politically. Congress has failed. Not the President of the United States. Absolutely not. No way whatsoever has Donald Trump failed at the border as your president. Barack Hussein Obama had 8 years to repair that border. George W. Bush had 8 years. But better than that, or worse than that, Congress has had 16 years. Now, let's go all the way back to Ronald Reagan. Is it 1986, 89, or was it 89, 86? I forget, I don't have the number. The amnesty deal that Reagan made with Tip O'Neill, that's how far this goes back. And you remember, we gave amnesty for border security. They do not, okay? When Donald Trump talks about Barack Obama, all right? When they talk about Congress not fixing this, let's go back to the 86 immigration bill. Not just one president. Now, I'm not speaking ill of Ronald Reagan. Don't get that confused. Doesn't happen here on this show. But Ronald Reagan made a deal with the devil, Tip O'Neill, okay? As Speaker of the House, we will give you amnesty and you give us border security. It's 2018, folks. First day of summer, if I'm correct. 2018, 1986, right? Amnesty. We never fixed the border security. Oh, it's in there. It could have happened. It could have been enacted. We did little bitty things to show that we were trying, but we never fixed the border. 1986, folks. Now, moving right along, you go all the way through the years, Congress has failed. Now, Republicans, whether you like it or not, you've let Democrats roll you on this issue because you could have fixed the border. Period. This is Congress' fault. We should have shut the government down. $1.6 billion to build a wall. Now, in a rally last night in Duluth, Minnesota, I don't want to go there till 9 o'clock. Stay with me. In a rally last night in Duluth, Minnesota, whether there was 10,000, 40,000, whatever they held, it was maximum capacity in Minnesota, folks. Absolutely. All right? Maximum capacity in Minnesota for Donald Trump rally, and they broke into build the wall. $1.6 billion to start building the wall. They're not serious about border control. Yesterday, the president signed an executive order. Now, what the left is trying to make you believe is that that Kirstjen Nielsen, the head of Homeland Security, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Trump himself were all coming out and lying every day. That this is Congress's problem. Congress could fix it. They could, folks. Congress could have fixed this since 1986. This is Congress's problem. They could have fixed it. Congress has failed, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump, myself, no American wants to see these kids at the border detained. We don't want to see it. We know their parents brought them here, okay? The media will not look at the other side of how many of the older children. You notice when you see a media report on these 2,000 children, they're looking for the toddlers, all right? And I've gone over every day. So are women that are detained in North Georgia, Western North Carolina, wherever you're at this morning, and their child is taken from them. If a lady is arrested in North Georgia, wherever you're at today, immediately they'll bring somebody up from Child Protective Services, all right, to take the child with them. The mother gets the handcuffs, she goes through booking, she's in county jail, whatever, for methamphetamines, shoplifting, whatever they've done. And the mother is saying, where did you take my child? Where did you take my child? They tell the mother your child is safe with Family Protective Services. That's what they're doing at the border. Mothers may be saying, where did you take my child? Your child is safe at a protective service center, wherever we have that, okay? But the point is the media continues to talk to you about the infants, the 2-year-olds, the girls, where are they at? They're not talking to you about the teenagers. Do you know how many, the 9, the 10, the 11, the 12-year-old boys, do you know how many of those boys are brought up here because that will keep them together. They know the liberals will keep them together. Gang members, drug dealers, whatever, that want to cross. And if they have a child with them, they're protected in a different way at the border through the Obama policies or the Obama administration, the hands-off, catch and release. But the law says no. They are to detain them and separate them. That is the law. All Jeff Sessions, like him or not, all Jeff Sessions, Donald J. Trump, Kirstjen Nielsen, and John Kelly, General John Kelly, Chief of Staff, former Homeland Security Director, are doing is enforcing the law. So yesterday they want to lead you to believe that President Donald Trump has been lying every day. No, he's told Congress, do something about it. Get something to my desk. You do realize that Congress had a chance during the budget. You do realize that Congress has had the last 2 years to get something up there. And yes, the Democrats are obstructionists. Period. They are flat out obstructionists. The Democrats do not want this solved. They are using human beings, okay, as political pawns in the next election. They do not care about these people at the border. They do not. They want a diversion from what's really happening in this country. Prosperity. You having a job, unemployment at the lowest levels, President Trump doing everything to reduce the trade deficit in this country. We'll talk about that later because you keep hearing tariffs. And that the Russian collusion and that Donald J. Trump obstructed justice by firing James Comey is over. They cannot let that news out. They're suppressing evidence. Suppressing evidence. The evidence that this country is on the right track. Tariffs. Okay, I believe in trade. We'll get into that. I know everybody cringes a little bit. Tariffs, trade deficit, regulations, cut. Duluth, Minnesota. If you did not listen to the roundtable, you see there's not one media outlet probably this morning discussing the roundtable that was held in Duluth, Minnesota yesterday with Donald Trump and business owners and different people in that area from Minnesota. We'll get into that later. Unemployment, optimism. They're suppressing the evidence of good news. They're suppressing the evidence of bad news for them, the Democrats, by using these people at the border. I told you this. It was a Katrina moment. They made it. Joe and Minka went full-blown Katrina this morning. All right. Family detention centers. So Trump did not cave yesterday. I myself do not want to see, all right, these children brought to the border. We're not going to mistreat children, folks. We're not going to. Those children this morning, they're talking about a media blackout. Why is there a media blackout? Because you know what? The media is waiting to get some of those wackos, Jim Acosta maybe, some of those wacko field journalists in there to create a situation that does not exist. You have been seeing pictures of things that do not exist. You have seen pictures that are time-stamped from the Obama administration that say children are in cages. You have been given all kinds of information that does not exist on that border. Now they're telling you, oh my God, the children will be sent to what is also doubles for military camps. That is sad. Well, let me tell you something. I worked at Fort Leonard Wood. When was that? 2010? Maybe 2010. I worked at Fort Leonard Wood in 2010 for almost 3 months. And I watched families, housing units. And I watched families go in and out of there, moms with their children back and forth as maybe mom and dad, maybe dad with their children, okay? Because mom and dad are in Afghanistan, Iraq, somewhere in the world fighting. Quit making it sound like military barbed wire camp facilities we're going to put these kids in. They will lead you to believe it's a Japanese World War II roundup. I'm serious, no matter how that sounds, this is what they want you to believe, okay? It is not. The children are warm. The children have clean blankets. The children have places to take showers. They have good food, and they're being cared for, and they're being looked at by medical examiners. You know, I'm just telling you right now, how about giving a rat's whatever about tuberculosis? I mean, here are the Democrats that are crying, wanting people to come across the border, not through a port, okay, of entry. Not through the legal channels, but they want them to just come across the border and take off. And we don't know where they're at. We don't know a medical examination. We do not know if they are disease-free, what they're carrying. Let me tell you something, whether you like it or not. Try to get a damn banana in this country. I'm not joking you. I myself have had a pineapple ripped from my bag, my luggage, ripped away from me and thrown away because I was in a foreign country, and they looked at me and basically said, you can't bring a pineapple. Why not? It could have fruit flies from some country that destroys our vegetation. Okay. I'm telling you, try to get a damn banana in this country. But no, Democrats are fine. Bring your tuberculosis. Bring your this. Bring your that. Come on in. The Statue of Liberty did not say that. The huddled masses. We had Ellis Island. We had ports of entry. Don't fall for that. It's a shame they do not read. They do not teach history anymore. Ports of entry. Ellis Island. Okay? The only ones that we really let get away with it was the daggone Mayflower when they jumped ship at Plymouth Rock and said, oh my God, look here. The Indians didn't like it. They were concerned about border security back then. I'm just telling you. I mean, it's not the direction I wanted to go, but let me make something straight. Point of entry. Here was my opinion all the way back when Trump started running for office. My opinion was then and it is now. Build a border wall the entire length of the southern border, like it or not. Put two checkpoints. So go in two sections, one out closer to New Mexico and Arizona, California, somewhere around there, and somewhere around Texas, and build two very large facilities that have doctors, have intake, and have a door on the side, the Mexican border, and anyone that is seeking asylum, we do not want your children harmed in your countries. We'll talk about that. We do not want you sitting there having to worry about gangs killing you in your country, but that's another subject that we got to do something about those countries, okay? Anyhow, we have two ports, major facilities on the wall. We pick two strategic places, and you come up and you open the door and walk in, and no one will harm you. It's all you got to do. All right? And at that point, we will let you have your paperwork, you fill it out, you stay with your family, you do all your paperwork, you give your reasons, okay? We have a 24-hour, 48-hour process there. We have a place that you can rest for a little bit, and then after your process, if you are going to be allowed into this country, you go out the other door, and when you step on that soil, you are welcome, and not until then. And you go through medical, everything. Two nice facilities on the southern border, not just jumping it wherever you want and then we're the bad guys for detaining you because we don't know what just came across the border. Now the other thing there is when you step into this side, we know where you're going, where you're at. Let me tell you this, I'm going to break, I'll explain it. I'm sitting here, you know me, I'll say anything, okay? I will, I'm going there. I'm sitting here within a half a mile, not even a half a mile of a chicken plant. Now, off the top of my head, they may have 400 people working this morning in LJ, Georgia, at a chicken plant. Out of the 400, I don't know, take a shot. Let's just say 275 are Guatemalans or 200 are from Guatemala, right? Just saying, okay? Now, the chicken plant right here needs 100 people to work. We can't get them to work because their ass is strung out on opiates, methamphetamines. I'm serious. Sorry-ass white people. I know I'm not supposed to say that on Mondays, but they're strung out on something. The chicken plant can't get 100 people to work. There's 100 jobs a half mile from my location where I'm broadcasting this morning. Now, if the chicken plant if they exhaust every single option they have, and they go to the unemployment and they say, okay, we've tried that, we've tried this, we tried that. Now what we'd like to do is fill out the paperwork, send it to the southern border, let them know that we need 100 people to work in our chicken processing plant. Then the Guatemalans come in and they say, whether you like it or not, say, look, if you want to get started in this country, there's 100 jobs in LJ, Georgia at the chicken plant. Go put a year in the chicken plant, and if you want to move on, you move on. But your first year is going to be in that chicken plant. And you come up here, put them in the chicken plant. Put them out there in the field of watermelons. I know I just made everybody mad, and I don't care, okay? But we need to know who they are, where they're going, and go straight to get a job, not on our government roll. It's putting a strain on our schools, the president said. I'm going to come back after these messages. We're going to talk about, we have Carla's Corner. Right on the other side of this break will be Carla's Corner. And at 9 o'clock, you want to stay with me, Minnesota 8th Congressional District. I want to talk about that, why you think it might be boring. But don't forget the top news of the morning. Jerry Springer, after 4,000 episodes, a halt to the Jerry Springer show. Well, you know, you go to a Trump rally, what's the difference? And they're yelling, build the wall. You go to a Springer show, and they're yelling, take it off. I don't know what to think. I'm your host, BKP. We'll be right back after these messages.